For long term investors, what would you say are the biggest mistakes to avoid in the current market environment?
Sure. I think, the point that I would make, which I was showing you in many of those charts where I was drawing the lines, is that many things in the markets are cyclical. There are times when the news flow is supportive. There are times when the news flow is not supportive. The way that the market adjusts for this is by taking valuations higher when people feel very confident about the future, when they are making very bold bets about how investments will yield returns in the future. And at the same time, valuations tend to be cheap when the news flow is adverse, when we are more concerned about what can happen in the short term, which can cause earnings to become weaker or cause macroeconomic parameters to be weaker. So these are all cycles. What is important is to not get carried away by greed when the news is good. What is important is to not get carried away by panic and fear when the valuations are cheap. Every time you look at a crisis, you have to ask yourself the question. It could be a crisis, it could be a setback. You have to ask yourself not the question, what are the challenges that this crisis creates for me, but equally, is this crisis actually an opportunity from which I can benefit? And while I would still not call this a crisis for India, the fact that equities have gone nowhere for 2 years, the valuations have corrected, we saw it in our proprietary valuation index, it means that the markets, in spite of all the negative news flow, are actually telling you from a valuation perspective, this is where the bad news is discounted in the price, the expectations are low, and therefore this is a good time to step forward into the markets with lump sum investments, maybe in hybrid funds, because that will allow you to handle the enhanced volatility in the short term better. But this is a time to step forward, but not a time to panic and exit the market. The news flow is always adverse when valuations are more reasonable. Today, we are certainly in that reasonable territory. And particularly, all of this I'm saying in the context of large caps. We saw in the valuations, there is a dichotomy between where the large cap valuations and where the small and mid cap valuations are.
Mutual fund investments are subject to market risks. Read all scheme related documents carefully.